In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux on a Windows 11 computer using a VMware Workstation Pro. Now, I haven't created a video like this for a long time, so I think it's time to make an updated video because many things have changed, including the fact that a VMware Workstation Pro is free. You can use a VMware Workstation Pro for free on Windows and VMware Fusion for free on a Mac. This allows you to run virtual machines on your Windows computer or your Mac for free, including Kali Linux, which I'm going to demonstrate in this video. Use the various timestamps to jump to the part of the video that you're interested in. I'm going to show you the full setup process, how to download Kali Linux, how to enable VTX or AMD-V in the BIOS of your laptop. I've got two laptops here. I've got an AMD laptop as well as an Intel laptop. So I'll show you how to set up the BIOS correctly so that you can run virtual machines on your Windows computer. I'll also show you how to set up and import Kali Linux. It's a very simple process, but basically show you all the steps of downloading VMware Workstation Pro for free, setting up a VTX on your laptop, importing a VM, and booting up Kali Linux for the first time. That's enough talking. Use the timestamps to jump to the various parts of the video so that you can get started setting this up. Start learning today. This is a fantastic way to learn ethical hacking and learn Linux. It looks like governments have been reading this book and have decided that it's a handbook to control what you can and cannot see. In a lot of countries around the world, they're looking at implementing age verification. This has now happened in the UK. They will not allow you to listen to certain types of music on Spotify as an example, or even access pages on Wikipedia until you've verified your age. And you may not want to provide biometric data about yourself to some random website. The important thing here is that you use a reputable VPN provider, and the VPN provider that I use and recommend is Proton VPN. Proton VPN routes your connection through a country where the site is accessible or where you don't have to go through age verification. And did you know that their stealth protocol disguises the VPN traffic, making it harder to block? If a protocol is blocked, Smart Protocol auto switches to keep you connected. And alternative routing finds a path when networks get restrictive. On Android, you can even disguise the app icon. And there's a free plan with no ads and no logs made possible by paid users of Proton VPN. Privacy is core to Proton. They have open source apps, so if you're concerned about the app, have a look at the source code. They also have independent audits and Swiss legal protections. You can connect to one of 15,000 plus servers in 120 plus countries. You can then turn on NetShield to block trackers and malware and browse freely with Proton VPN. To sign up to Proton VPN, use the following link, protonvpn.com/David Bombal, and you get a 64% discount off Proton VPN Plus. Now, before you install VMware Workstation Pro, before you get Kali up and running, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have VTX enabled in the BIOS or AMD-V. If you've got an AMD-based computer, make sure that you enable the following in the BIOS. Now, if your laptop or computer is showing that virtualization is already enabled, you can skip to this timestamp in the video. Go straight to the portion where I show you how to install VMware Workstation Pro. You don't need to do anything in the BIOS because the settings are already there. Otherwise, continue watching and I'll show you how to enable the virtualization options on an Intel as well as an AMD laptop. The way that you can check this firstly is to go to Task Manager. So in this example, I have got an Intel computer. So I'm going to go to my performance setting in Task Manager. And notice for this AMD Ryzen 9 laptop, the following is enabled. Virtualization is enabled. You're going to want to see that. If it's not enabled, you need to enable it through the BIOS. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. But before I do that, I'm going to go to this other laptop. This is an Intel laptop. Same process here. Open up Task Manager, go to Performance. In this case, I've got an Intel Core Ultra 9 laptop, and notice virtualization is enabled. So you can see the US spelling versus the UK spelling for virtualization. I mean, that's not important. You simply want to see that virtualization is enabled. If it's not enabled, so let's assume that it's not enabled in this example. So what I'm going to do here is press the Shift key down and then reboot or restart the laptop with Shift pressed down so that we go into the BIOS settings. Okay, so you can see the laptop is booting and now we can decide which options to use. So I'm going to go to troubleshooting And then I'm going to go to advanced options and I'm going to go to UEFI firmware settings. So I want to basically go into the BIOS. Now you don't have to do it this way. You could, as an example, have done this by just rebooting the laptop and then pressing the special key to get into the BIOS. So F2 or F10 or escape, depends on your laptop. Have a look at the documentation for your laptop or PC on how to get into the BIOS. But notice here, I am now in the BIOS of this specific laptop. This is an Asus laptop. So the settings will be dependent on the laptop that you've got. I'm going to go to advanced settings on this laptop. And under advanced, you're going to want to see this SVM mode. This is enabled, and this is what needs to be set to enable virtualization properly on your computer. So the settings could be in different places. It really depends on your laptop, but for this laptop, SVM is set there. You may see a setting like AMD-V or something like that. Just depends on your laptop. Mine is good, so I'm simply going to exit without saving the changes. Now, in your case, you're going to want to save the changes and exit if the settings weren't correct, but in my case, the settings are good. So I'm going to discard the settings and exit the BIOS, and the computer will now boot back into Windows and be ready for me to install a VMware workstation on it. And there you go. So I can log back into the computer, open up Task Manager, go to Performance, and make sure that virtualization is enabled. So that's what you want to see. If that's done, you can now install VMware Workstation Pro. Okay, so that was an AMD computer. This is an Intel computer. So same thing again. I can press the Shift key and reboot the laptop or restart it with the Shift key held down. And that should allow me to get into the BIOS. Again, depending on your laptop, this is an MSI laptop. You would have to choose the correct keystroke to get into BIOS if you didn't press Shift when you were rebooting the computer. But as you can see there, the computer is rebooting. So what I'm going to do is go to Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, UEFI Firmware Settings, and restart the computer. And on this laptop, I'm going to go to Advanced Settings. And notice here, we have various options here, such as Intel virtualization technology being enabled. That's what we want to see. I've also enabled VTD as well as hyperthreading. The important things that you want here are Intel virtualization technology and VTD. So those are both enabled. Now VTD is not required, but improves performance. I'm going to make sure that Intel virtualization technology, sometimes you'll see it as VTX or something like that, is enabled, as well as VTD. And then I'm going to exit without saving my settings because I didn't need to save them here. But if you change those settings, you would obviously need to save those settings. And now I can reboot my computer. And I can now log back in again. And once again, go to Task Manager, Performance, and make sure that virtualization is enabled, which it is in this case. So there you go. That's how you enable it now on an Intel computer. Now we can start the installation of VMware. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go to kali.org to download Kali Linux. So I'm going to click on download. In this case, I'm going to download a pre-built virtual machine. And in this example, I'm going to download the virtual machine for VMware. It's about 3.4 gig in size. I've actually previously downloaded it here in preparation for this video, but you'd simply save that virtual machine to your hard drive so that you could import it. Now, in previous videos, I've shown you how to set up Kali Linux on VirtualBox. I'll probably create an updated video of that as well. I've shown you how to set it up on Hyper-V. There are various options here. VMware is the best product, in my opinion. VMware Workstation Pro is now free. You can simply download it by registering on the VMware website. But I wanted to read some of the FAQs because it seems that people are not aware of the following. What has changed with VMware Fusion and Workstation? As of March 2025, the current versions of VMware Fusion Pro and Workstation Pro are available at no charge for all use cases, including personal, educational, and commercial use. Users no longer need to purchase a license for these versions for any scenario. Broadcom will continue releasing updates and security patches, but will no longer sell new support contracts for these versions. So that's fantastic news. In the past, you used to have to download VMware Workstation Player. It was very restricted. You couldn't use snapshots as an example, but now you can get VMware Workstation Pro as well as VMware Fusion Pro for free just by registering on the VMware website. You can use a VirtualBox if you prefer. The advantage of VirtualBox is that you don't need to go through a registration process. VMware will ask you to register on their website and provide some personal information so that you can download the software. You need to decide whether you're willing to share that information with VMware to download the product for free, or if you prefer to be totally anonymous, then download a VirtualBox. There are obviously ways to circumvent this, which I'm not recommending that you do. The process, according to VMware, is you have to register on the Broadcom website with some of your information. I'll put this link below, or just search for VMware Workstation Pro download, and you'll find this link where you can click download now. And then on the Broadcom website, you need to register an account. So you'll need to register with a legitimate email address because they will email you a code so that you can log in. And then once you've registered, you can go to their website and log in. Click next. So I'm going to simply log in to their website. And now I can go to my downloads and notice their website isn't great. There's been a lot of backlash against Broadcom since they took over VMware. But what is good is that you can now get VMware Workstation Pro for free or VMware Fusion, which is great. So notice this option here, free downloads available here. So click there and then search for either VMware Fusion if you're on a Mac, or in this case on Windows, VMware Workstation Pro. And then you can download it for either Windows or Linux. So just be aware you can run VMware on Linux for free if you want to. Or as it shows here on Kali, you could use QEMU if you prefer. But in this example, I'm going to download the Windows release. And this is a recent change on VMware. They put out a notice a few days ago at the time of this recording that they're going to change their versioning. So these releases introduce a new versioning model, deliver new features, and expand on the support for the latest operating systems and hardware, all designed to make virtualization more seamless, powerful, and up-to-date. So they are now using a calendar versioning rather than like a VMware Workstation 17, Fusion 13, etc. So they're using this new format for all their software versions. So Fusion and Workstation will have the same version numbers. So once you've clicked there, you need to agree to their terms and conditions. So they're going to force you to click on their terms and conditions. Then you need to agree to their terms and conditions. And once you've done that, you can now download the software. So I am going to download VMware Workstation full version 25H2. My Kali Linux download is still downloading, and I've got VMware Workstation busy downloading. People always ask the question, what's the best? Should I get VMware or should I get VirtualBox? This is your decision. Now, in my opinion, I prefer VMware. I've used it for years and years. I find it to be more stable, works just better, in my opinion, than VirtualBox. But you may prefer VirtualBox, and that's fine. I run both of them often. So I run them together as an example and run certain VMs in VirtualBox and certain VMs in VMware. But my personal choice is VMware. On a Mac, I like using VMware Fusion because it's free, and on Windows, VMware Workstation Pro. In the old days, VirtualBox was better than VMware Workstation Player because VMware Workstation Player, as an example again, didn't support snapshots, but Pro does. So I like VMware Workstation Pro. But again, up to you which one you want to use. Okay, so VMware Workstation has downloaded. I'm going to double click on the executable file. In my example, I'm not logged in as an administrator, so I have to put my administrator password in. And notice now the installation starts. Now we're told that we need to restart our installation for some software to be installed. We can have a read of the knowledge base that explains this. So we need to install additional software and reboot. So I'm going to click yes now to allow the software to be installed and Windows to be rebooted. So you can see Windows is restarting. Okay, so Windows is rebooted. I'll log back in again. And what I'll do is restart the installation, put in my password to allow it to make changes. Okay, so we're told, welcome to the VMware Workstation Pro Setup Wizard. I'm going to click Next. You have to agree to the license agreement, so make sure you read through this, and if you agree to it, then click Next. Now we're told the installer has detected that the host has Hyper-V or Device Credential Guard enabled. Virtual machines will be launched using the Windows Hypervisor platform. So what's nice here is it picks up that I've got Hyper-V running. So I use WSL as an example on this computer. So that's great. I'm going to click Next and click Next again. I'm going to allow it to check for updates, but I'm not going to join the custom improvement program and click Next. I'll just go with the defaults of the icons and click Next and click Install. So as you can see, VMware Workstation Pro is now being installed. What will happen is VMware will install various drivers. I'm a bit old school, so I'll go to Control Panel just because I prefer that. And under Network and Internet, Network and Sharing Center, change adapter settings. What you'll notice is it will install a VMware adapter here. So don't be worried if suddenly a new adapter appears. That's required for VMware. It's going to create a virtual adapter there. And here I'm going to click Finish to finish the installation. And there you go. I've now got a VMware installed. And what I can do is run it and import my Kali Linux virtual machine. So there you go. You can see I'm running VMware Workstation Pro 25H2, released very recently at the time of this recording. And what I'm going to do here is click Open Virtual Machine. And the machine I want to open is the one that I've downloaded. Now it's not picking it up because that is a zip file. So I'm going to right click on the first file that I downloaded and click Extract All and try and extract the software. But notice I get an error here. And that's because this is actually a 7-zip file. So if I look at the properties of this file, you can see it's 7Z or 7-zip file. So what I'm going to do is go to 7zip.org. And what I'm going to do is download the software for Windows 64-bit and download that software. And then open that and install 7-zip. So I'll install the software and click Close. So I'm going to click Show More Options, 7-zip, and I'm going to extract all the files to this subdirectory. So what that'll do now is basically extract all the source files. So while that's doing that, in Windows, notice here's the new directory. Here's my VMware virtual machine directory, and inside there are all the files. So now that that's extracted, I can go back to VMware Workstation Pro and click Open Virtual Machine, go to my Downloads directory, and notice this new directory with my VMware virtual machine inside of it. I can double click to open that, and notice I now have a Kali Linux virtual machine in VMware. By default, it's using 2 gig of RAM and 4 processors. I'm going to click power on this virtual machine just to use the defaults. But notice here it says you're running this virtual machine with side channel mitigations enabled. It's going to run slowly. So that's a problem actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually shut it down. So before this boots in, I'm going to shut the virtual machine down. So power it off. And I'm going to edit my virtual machine settings. And under Options, Advanced, I'm not going to enable side channel mitigations for Hyper-V. And I'm going to click OK. Now, just going back to that, just so that you can see all the settings. Edit virtual machine settings. Memory is 2 gig. You could make this more if you wanted to. So I, as an example, will make it 4 gig, 4096, so that it runs quicker. You could adjust the number of processors used. You could decide whether you want to use NAT, which just allows it to NAT the VM onto an interface, or bridge it. If you want to connect directly to the virtual machine from the outside, you're going to need to bridge it. For the moment, I'll just set it as NAT, and I'll leave the other options as default and click OK. And then I'll power on this virtual machine. So we told you the following devices can be connected to this virtual machine. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm simply going to allow it to boot up. And as you can see, Kali Linux is booting. And there you go. I can log in. Default username is Kali. Default password is Kali. And I have now logged in. And there you go. So you have different options in VMware. I mean, you can show all your virtual machines on the left here if you want to. Or what you can do is go full screen if you prefer. It's really up to you. Lots of options. But the thing that I'm going to do here is just open up a terminal. And what I'm going to do here is type ping google.com. And as you can see, we can ping google.com from this virtual machine. Just make this a bit bigger. I'll clear the screen and type sudo apt update to update my references. Password is Carly again. And notice I can update my references, which allows me to install various software that I may want to install. I can open up Firefox on Carly, and then I could browse to the internet. So go to carly.org as an example. And notice I'm able to access the internet from this virtual machine running within Windows. Now, I'm not going to show you a whole bunch of tools in this video. I simply wanted to show you how to get Carly installed and up and running. In this example, I'll shut down the virtual machine just to show you that I can shut that down. I can power it on again. You might not want to show these options, but the advantage here is that you can easily go to your virtual machine and connect removable devices directly to this virtual machine if you wanted to. In my example, they connected to the host machine, and I could log in. VMware Workstation has a lot of power. So as an example, you can create various snapshots so that if you do something wrong, you can restore your snapshot and go back to the previous settings. Lots of powerful options in VMware. Let me know if you want me to show you various options in VMware, show you how to set up things within VMware. Let me know if you want me to do that. It's fantastic now that VMware Workstation Pro and VMware Fusion Pro are free. This is great news for any one of us who are studying or trying to learn. So it's really nice that VMware have done this, or Broadcom in this case have done this. Okay, hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover. But if you enjoyed this video, please like it. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and clicking on the bell to get notifications. I'm David Bombal, and I want to wish you all the very best.